economics is trigonometry. Without trigonometry, our knowledge of physics and engineering would crumble. Suppose we have a circle. Suppose we place this circle around the center of a graph. Suppose that the radius of this circle is 1. Let's give the name theta to the angle between this line and the x-axis. Let's always measure theta from the x-axis in the counterclockwise direction. We can measure theta in degrees, or we can measure it based on the distance traveled around the circle. If we travel all the way around the circle, the distance traveled is equal to the circle's circumference, which is pi multiplied by the diameter of 2. When we measure theta based on the distance traveled around the circle, we say that we have measured theta in radians. For each location on the graph, the green ball traveling around the circle has an x-coordinate. Let's give the x-coordinate a name and call it the cosine. For every value of theta, we will refer to the x-coordinate as the cosine of theta. Now let's consider the y-coordinate of the green ball. Let's also give the y-coordinate a name and call it the sine of theta. The sine and the cosine of an angle can range anywhere between -1 and +1. Consider the triangle that is made with the x-axis. The lengths of the sides of this triangle are the sine and the cosine of theta. As the triangle grows, all the lengths of the triangle grow by the same proportion.
क्या बताया जा रहा है यहाँ पे कि अगर मेरे को हाइपोटेनस गिवन है और मुझे बेस निकालना है तो हाइपोटेनस को कॉस ऑफ एंगल से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, और अगर मुझे हाइपोटेनस गिवन और परपेंडिकुलर निकालना है तो साइन थीटा से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे उस डाटा में, ठीक है, देखा जा रहा है। जब 1 था तो 1 का मल्टीप्लाई था कॉस में, जब यहाँ 1 था तो 1.1, जो भी डाटा देगा उसका मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे कॉस में और साइन में। जब कॉस में करेंगे तो बेस आएगा, हाइट निकालेंगे क्या करेंगे साइन से। ये कुछ रेशियो जो आया आप अब देखो, और मैं वहां समझाऊंगा जब पढ़ाऊंगा।
Most calculators have buttons labeled sine and cosine.
मल्टीप्लाई का दूसरा मतलब टाइम्स भी होता है, 5 times 6 मतलब 5 into 6।
You can enter the values of an angle into a calculator, either in degrees or in radians. The sine and cosine buttons will then tell you the values of the sine and the cosine of that angle. Most calculators also have buttons for the inverse sine and the inverse cosine. In these cases, you enter the value for the sine or the value for the cosine, and the calculator will tell you what angle would have produced that value.
अगर आपको साइन पता है, वो साइन और साइन का वैल्यू पता है।
Sine and cosine are two of the most important functions in mathematics. They allow us to solve the most critical problems in all branches of physics. Consider flying an aircraft. Suppose we know the x, y, and z coordinates of where we want to fly to.